Hey, my name is Gytis and I'll be reviewing 2 UX portfolios in this video. Let's take a look at the portfolio from Kris Burger. So first of all, great last name. So I'm Kris, a design lead working on e-commerce optimization, building design systems, scaling high growth startups, and so on and so on. So, okay, that's already a fairly smart way to tell more about what you do without adding too much of a text. So it obviously, I need to wait for things to change. So I'm probably not gonna do that all the time, but I'm probably gonna wait for a couple of these to change and just to see what he's writing. So it's very, very to the point, design lead, meaning that he has already a fair amount of years under his belt, and then just working on different things, scaling high growth startups, cybersecurity, responsive web apps. So there's probably quite a bit of things there. So, and for someone in the design lead position working in the industry for maybe 8-10 years or so, I would expect them to have work on different things. And obviously when you work for a longer duration, then you have just a better idea about what types of projects you want to work on and so on. And obviously having like a few known logos here that just adds to the overall case for saying that you're a design lead and you have the experience. So that's good. Generally overall already quite sleek looking design, already saying that he has the experience. So let's see how he actually justifies that experience and whether that seems to be true. So he's further emphasizing spent 10+ years building websites, applications, and brands for a range of companies. Recently was design lead. So previously I was the founding designer and design lead at Pohorila. Before that, or out of Vancouver, San Francisco, remote product designer and so on. So quite a bit of a text already, and this kind of outlining his experience about different projects. So it gives fair amount of information up front. I might want a more concise description here, because this is again just the very second section that I'm seeing here. So I would make that into much conciser version, maybe add some bullet points here and there and just give me some rough numbers, and maybe then I can go to another page to read a bit more. So this is a product that he has built. These are just static screens which I cannot really click on. So okay, that's fine. Let's see what else. So this is what I would hope to get a peek into the project that we built, but I cannot click into it. So I hope I'll see the actual project somewhere else. You'll find me forecasting, developing concepts, and designing systems that shape the future, envisioning designing modern products and digital experience, shaping and activating brands through insight, vision, execution. Okay, so this is already like a very corporate looking setup. So again, just out of everything, I see that again this is more senior person. They're dialing towards more corporate world, although they said that growth startups and so on, but growth startups could be backed up by big corporations and companies. So trusted by unicorns and enterprise companies. I think these are exactly the same I've seen at the top. So kind of a bit redundant here. Plus, I've seen TopTal, which is not really a startup in my mind. So I look to work with startups, companies, and organizations solving big problems. So yeah, this is not really saying much. I've used these phrases as well in my own portfolios. It sounds powerful in saying that you want to work on complex things and in making an impact and so forth, but this is actually not very descriptive. So maybe add something more specific, add a couple examples. I think that might be a little bit more provoking, so therefore might get a better response. A better opportunity to work with projects related to cybersecurity, unified communications, finance, reporting, blockchain, and so on and so on. Okay, so this is talking about a bit more about specific things. Again, not sure that they're solving big problems, not necessarily. So not exactly. I don't quite see the justification for that or like explanation for it. And then footer, CTA, send message to say hello to chat for inquiries or other opportunities, email, LinkedIn, angel list. Okay, I see that he's actually updated the portfolio. So, okay, so first of all, I don't see the actual projects and portfolio, any of the case studies here. So this is something that you will start seeing with more experienced product designers, and find that to be the case with myself as well. Like, the more experience that I gather, then the less I care about essentially how I present myself in a way, so I don't spend as much of time building case studies and so on, because I am able to get work, so I don't need to like spend so much time building out very, very thorough case studies. And I think it is a fairly common trend amongst more senior designers. But not having anything and just having like a few screenshots, and very small ones at that is, you know, very poor, I would say. So this looks just like a very corporate website. Even without looking at the text, I would say this is not a designer. This is like maybe, I don't know, some sort of finance related website selling some services in the financial sector or something along those lines. So not a great representation. I know that this person is like has a lot of experience and they're justifying some of that, but without going into the details, I guess he's not really concerned about being hired, or maybe he trusts that he has the, you know, recommendations behind him, or like that he's fairly well known in this sector. I don't know. But, you know, like spending the time to actually contact him to be able to review some of the projects, that's an interesting. So I would like to know what's the rationale behind building a project like that. Maybe he's trying to purposely control what projects he will be able to present and how he wants to present it. Because when you're building a case study, you're kind of building it for the world, so you don't really know who's gonna look at it, and you're trying to, you know, make a lot of people happy, so you need to add a lot of information and make that all pretty but fairly standard, so it applies to a bit, you know, a wider range of tastes. So it's a bit tricky to do that. So if you're able to pique my interest through some initial attention grabbing mockups, and then get me to reach out to you so that you can, you know, jump on a call with me or learn about what I'm looking at, what I'm looking for, and then really present only the work that is relating to that, then, you know, that's probably a good way to do it. But I'm just not sure if I'm compelled enough to actually reach out to get more information. So again, that's me. I don't really hire very, very experienced designers usually, so it might be just like a completely different case study and scenario in this case. But generally, you know, it had a good beginning, I think, quite interesting and professional looking. A bit too much information, then not enough information about the projects, then very corporate looking setup here, and then a bit of redundant information, and then, you know, even a little bit more information here, but I may like to see that maybe at the top somewhere, and then footer, and there's no additional information that I can see. So yeah, that's all I can get from this portfolio. Let's take a look at the portfolio of Anna Pohorila. Sorry for mispronouncing the name if I did. So this is a Behance-based portfolio, so we can take a look at the left side and we can see some about me and some strengths and so forth. So generally, Behance portfolio obviously does not look as serious as a website that you built out, so have that in mind. And if you have more than 2 portfolio pieces, then please build a website using just a simple web builder like Wix, Webflow, or Squarespace. Pick a template and just use that to build out a portfolio. It will look much more professional. Plus, you will get additional experience of actually using these tools and building a website. Because chances are, when you're starting out and you want to get more experience, you can build websites for your friends and family using these web builder tools. And so this is something that you could add to your services list. So looking at the about me, hey everybody, my name is Anna and I'm a junior UX UI designer who's full of creativity, new ideas, enthusiasm of work straightforward. Key strengths that I bring to the role include proficiency in industry, strong understanding, excellent communication. So none of these really matter. Soft skills. I will be able to know whether you have all of that through the interview, whether it's just easy for me to communicate with you. So these are usually not very instructive for me. So the biggest drawback up front is a mix of the different things that you have in a portfolio. If you're actually looking at the UX UI as a serious career undertaking, then please get rid of everything else that does not tie with that. So like photo retouching, even though you have that part of your portfolio, this is not something I'm interested in, and kind of throws me off, even though it might be great work, but it's not what I'm looking for. So just create a separate portfolio where you would showcase these things, and then just have one specific for UX UI. So let's open up a login page here and see what that is about. Okay, so it's a single screen. So this is pretty much just UI piece of work with some animation graphics, but like as a UX piece, that does not tell me anything at all. I want to know about how you approach problems, what's your process like, and how you make decisions. So this looks like a longer project. So let's take a look. Done in 17 days. I've actually looked at this many times over already, maybe 4 or 5 times. I've looked at this portfolio because I was just picking a good one to review, and this is the first time that I'm actually seeing this. So there we go. Year 2023. There's some contact details, although that's kind of, with these sharing buttons, I'm not quite fully seeing that information there. So a slight drawback. Product designer, navigator's loop. Okay, landing page for a startup. Okay, so building something for startup, like a product feature page. And okay, this is a animation of, I guess, the website being scrolled through. So some animations here and there, navigator's loop. Okay, it's fine. Okay, I don't have the time really to kind of watch through it, but it's a nice touch. But I just don't really have time to sit and watch it. Task, develop landing page. Target, the guys just got out to the worldwide market, and they need recognize, attract new customers. The guys just got out. You might want to keep it a little bit more formal. The client or the company or the startup, not the guys. Process, computer analysis. Okay, weird. Maybe just have like the full process, because I want to see the whole thing. Target audience, creation wireframe. Okay, so usually, again, just by scrolling through, and if you structured everything properly, I will be able to see what's your process actually, rather than having this a fancy diagram. So this is a persona being done. So okay, it tells me a little bit about the fact that you've spent time to understand the users. Displayed in a fairly nice manner, I will say, so not super conventional, so a bit more interesting to look at. Based on the user persona, I create a structure outline, so slight misalignment here, which is just catches my eye, I can't help it. A structure outline, who are and what do we do, so very basic outline of the structure, which is okay, but like having this diagonal layout, that I know that adds like some visual interest to the thing. I can still read it, but it's just not as convenient for me to read it. So usually you can use these for like mockups where there's not a lot of text to be read and you just want to showcase something in a more interesting way, then this is a good way to do it. But if it's actually just content based, then this is just not helping me to read through it quickly. After just distributing the sequence of basic blocks, I created wireframe. Okay, so sitemap, and then into the wireframe, project purchasing, reviews. Okay. Next step, creating the 3D loop and animating it. Okay, so she created the 3D object and then she animated it. I've seen in her resume that she has some Blender experience, so that's probably what she used to create that. So a nice additional skill. I don't know how often you'll be able to use it building products, but it never hurts. Then I made a UI friendly design, UI friendly, what does that? It's usually user friendly, not UI friendly. And okay, so now we have the full length of a website. Okay, so lengthy. And now I just want to look at the overall feel, how things are structured, how the design is actually being done. I haven't really read anything about sort of her decisions, generally speaking. So this is just outlining the process. So I know that she generally understands how things should be built out, but I would be interesting to learn a bit about the main issues and the problems and why things have been designed in a particular way, why you've decided to structure it in that way but not the other, one section above other. What's the user journey here, how you're solving user problem, how you're making this an efficient business driver and sales driver. So okay, so again, sort of breaking up the grid system here, which can go wrongly at some time. So as a junior designer, I would not recommend you to go that path, but nothing really bad catches my eye, so maybe that's fine. Generally nice, light, airy type of layout, white space, using contrast, using the brand colors, slightly unconventional, buttons and things like that in certain places like here. So that's nice. Adds some visual interest and history of creation. Okay, interesting to learn more. And then the contact page, and then the checkout experience. Interesting. You might want to see the product photo here if you can choose between the colors. Contact info, shipping address. It looks a bit basic, having like different payment methods, and the spacing here is a bit, too much. Maybe you can make it that tighter. Right, okay. Verification page, so just putting everything together. And success, thank you, continue shopping, and then oops, okay, nice graphic image here. Mobile screens. Okay, this mock-up, let's try to use a very generic mock-up so that it stays relevant for longer. If you pick an actual iPhone design, it will stop being relevant in the next year. So it usually better just to have like an outline of a mobile phone and fill it with your design. I think it just works better. So yeah, it kind of looks a little bit funky and crowded here at the top. So it somehow does not look as good and clean as the website version. And then UI kit at the end. Okay, so first of all, and the CTA. So move the UI kit just above or just below low fidelity screens. Okay, so we've got low fidelity here. So then I think I would like to see the UI, the design system aspect of it, and then show the actual end result. I think that would make more sense. The animating piece, again, I would probably move that to the end, perhaps as like an additional bonus you've done. But in this case, this not like ties very well in the whole process. I'm not really that interested in your 3D object creation, so maybe just have that as a more additional bonus at the end. And then for the process, I appreciate you creating these animations. That gives me an indication that you can actually do these things. So unless I'm looking for that type of skill set, then that's useful. But I would just have this, if you wanted to showcase it really. But again, when I went through your work, I did not really get all of these points, like competitor analysis. I don't think I've got that anywhere. Like there was no section to talk about that. Target audience analysis. So I've seen persona, if that's what you're calling it, creating wireframe. See that, create 3D. Okay. Creation structures. Don't know what that is. Work with text. So you already worked with text, I guess, unless you're meaning like a more design, like choosing typefaces, but that's like part of UI. design system element, and then creation animations, landing page, final design. Okay, so I would keep the process very simple. Analysis, design, testing, or something. Try to, distill it to like 3-4 steps at the most. And then make sure that it's very well reflected as I'm scrolling through, because I've seen this and I went through the website, but it does not resonate. There is no one-to-one relation for me. There are no like very clear headings that would refer exactly to that. So try to use the numbers if you're actually doing these steps. Then just add those numbers somewhere, maybe in the background element or something like that, so that I know that you're actually following these steps, and then I know how quickly I'm going through this thing. So it will give an additional sort of navigation or flow element to it. But generally the end result looks pretty good. It's mostly driven by photos of the product, which is good. That's what you should be doing. If I would be very interested in if I was looking for someone to create a product website, then I would just dive deep and I would read everything on the page and try and understand the user journey, because I have not seen that being a part of your process really. You had that sort of content structure here or outline, but I would want to dive deeper into the details of how you made certain decisions and how you structured stuff here. So overall pretty good. I might get rid of the history and make that in a separate page to keep the whole page a bit more conciser. Probably move that feedback of a client's just above the actual purchasing experience, so that I can read that first to get additional social proof and then make a final purchasing decision. I think that would make more sense. And then history, probably move that to another page and then just have the contact there. So small additions here and there. Obviously I don't have the full knowledge and the context of the project, but these are just some very broad, crude things that I'm noticing, and I think that could inform your designs. Overall, the portfolio, as I said, very basic Behance, so not a lot to say about that. Only one serious project, so you need to add more than that. And again, you can build projects for your family, friends. It doesn't have to be only in your head and only for your own use. If you have like additional hobbies that you do, then you can create obviously websites and products for that. But what I would expect is to have at least a couple of projects. 2-3 would be a golden number to begin with, and then create your own website using web builder tools. And then this is giving me good vibes that you have a good sense of UI or visual. So I would like to see more of your work. If you're interested in building website, then just focus on the websites. If you want to go towards like product designs, apps and things like that, then try to create some of that as well. So essentially your portfolio should reflect the things that you like and you want to work on. If you're creating something but you don't really want to get work like that, then don't create it. So it just requires more time and effort to build additional portfolio pieces, create a website, and I think that will elevate your game much more. Hey, thanks for watching. If you found this video useful, please consider subscribing to my channel. This is most appreciated. If you want me to review your portfolio on the next video, just leave the comment down below here and I'll make sure to include it in the next one.